So it's been 2 weeks of us doing the bean protocol. I'm obsessed with beans. They will save the planet and all of our digestive systems. That is now my new belief. The first few days of being on the protocol were rough. I had some serious detox symptoms. I felt literally like I had the flu. It felt great. And then the first day, and then suddenly it just like hit me. And I was down for the next 3.5 days. Like barely able to move, was in bed, had just full on body aches, nausea, was exhausted, and it was tough. I was like, I never want to see a bean again. Glad I continued through, because now 2 weeks out, I am already noticing the benefits. My skin feels a lot clearer and brighter and just more like plump. I have less of brain fog, which is a blessing because I have always had a really great memory, but since moving to this house and us dealing with mold poisoning and knowing that I've dealt with it in many of my previous living situations, I just have had terrible brain fog. It's just like been become the worst of it the past 2 years. I also am full of more energy than I've ever been. I just can get more done, and I just feel more alert and awake and more motivated since starting the beans, which is also such a gift. So those have been like the big things that I've noticed. The other small thing I've noticed is that I usually get this pain in my right side. Like my intuition is saying like kidney, liver, like that area in the body. I'm thinking it's one or both of them, really struggling to detox the overload of hormones, because having endometriosis, you have an overproduction of estrogen. And so that overproduction of hormones, and then also my body trying to detox any toxins from it. So mold, environmental toxins, all of the things that we take in, fragrances, which are so toxic. So I've noticed that aching feeling that I have pretty much every day is subsiding, that I may experience like once in a while. It's not as bad and it's not consistent, which feels like I'm on the right track. And I'm glad that I've listened to my intuition of saying that's what it is, because I think otherwise I would have just like let myself be freaked out. So I'm loving the bean protocol. We started it and we're like, I was going gung-ho. We were trying to eat beans and our 3 big meals of the day. And I think that was just too much. So I've lowered the amount that I'm eating at each sitting. And we've also done set up our schedule so it's spaced between our big meals so that it's being consumed more as a supplement and its own thing. And that's become way easier, and really looking at it as like, oh, I'm taking my vitamins, I'm taking my fiber, and like using it as like a medicine, which has made the world of a difference, because then at each meal we can eat what we want within limit, which feels a lot more freeing. Because if I get restrictive around food, I tend to just like not eat because it's just too limiting, or I go to the other extreme and I just veg out. So I just am realizing like I need to find that balance, and I feel like we have with doing it in this format of like we wake up, eat beans, sit for tea ceremony, eat our breakfast, wait an hour and a half, eat our beans, then wait an hour and a half, eat our lunch, and then we'll have like our third round of beans and had like a snack and dinner. So I'm eating more, but I also have lost weight, which I was not striving for. That has not been a goal of mine at all, but something to note. I think it's really because of the detox, just like clearing my system out and just not really eating a lot the last week because I was feeling so just like nauseous. I didn't have the appetite. I think now that we're like, I'm getting back into the groove and moving out of those detox symptoms, I think that weight will come back on because I'm eating more food and I'm eating a lot more protein than I normally would, especially as a vegan. I definitely did not eat this many beans before. This is my second round of beans today. I have at least one more to go. I usually just do 2 tablespoons, and that seems to be plenty. Otherwise, gives me a bellyache. This is the right amount to like bind. I'll work my way up to half a cup. So I'm feeling great. I'm really stoked about the beans. We haven't been doing the cold plunge and the sauna as much as we had hoped, but I'm hoping to add that in now that I'm over that hump of the detox. And then I also got my vaccine earlier this week, the booster, and so that just like knocked me out again. So 2 weeks of being knocked out at the beginning of the week has been a little rough. And yeah, I just am feeling really great, like feeling a lot more clear-headed and optimistic and inspired. I feel like my creativity is just like continuing to flourish, which is so lovely. I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm gonna make some beans and some grapes.